because I can tell you 9 times out of 10, some of those people are sitting home like, she don't never come to my shit. Lifestyle lovers, welcome back to It's E Lifestyle, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Erica. My channel is called It's E Lifestyle, and it's all about creating a good lifestyle. Part of having a good lifestyle for me is having a good friend, and in order to have a good friend, you have to be a good friend. So this is a video that I have been wanting to film for probably about 2 months. I really thought about what it takes to be a good friend, and I narrowed it down to 5 important things that it actually takes to be a good friend, and I wanted to make a video about it and share it with you guys. So here I am. Anytime I see a video where, you know, someone is telling you how to do something, I always think about, okay, what makes you qualified to tell me how to be a good friend? I can remember when I was younger, if I would tease my mom about something or tell her how she was doing something wrong, she would always tell me to keep living. And what she meant by that was, you have not lived long enough in order to understand, or in order to get it, or in order to tell me how to do something. So I feel like I'm qualified to make this video because I have lived long enough and I have had enough friendships to know exactly what it takes to be a good friend. And although there may be many characteristics to being a good friend, I narrowed it down to 5 important traits of being a good friend, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, so these characteristics are not going to be in any particular order, but the first characteristic that I want to talk about, and it's a very important one, is in order to be a great friend, you have to be honest, but tactful, not hurtful. And what I mean by being honest is, have you ever had a conflict with a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever? All of these constitutes as friendships and relationships. And you've gotten on the phone with maybe another mutual friend and told that friend about the conflict. Maybe the person hurt you. Maybe they said something that you considered was jealousy or hate. But instead of expressing that to your friend, you get on the phone with another friend and you tell them about it. And you tell them about how you feel like they were being jealous, or they were being a mean girl, or they were being hateful. So if a friend hurts you, or they make you feel some type of way, maybe you may not feel like it's jealousy, but it made you feel some type of way. And you can tell when certain things kind of jab you. It's important to let them know that. Sometimes you don't have to say it right when it happens, because you may want to get an opportunity to digest it and kind of get control of your emotions. Because sometimes when we address things right then, it doesn't come out like we want it to come out, and it kind of end up being worse than what we wanted it to be. Or sometimes you may just have to kind of digest it and, you know, think, could you have been taking it the wrong way? Maybe you were in a pissy mood that day, and so pretty much anything somebody said to you, you may have taken it out of context. So sometimes it can also be the receiver. But once you have digested and got control of your emotions, maybe the next day or a few days later, you call your friend and you be like, you know, the other day when we had this conversation and you said whatever to me, that hurt me. So it's important that you be honest with your friend. And if you're in a friendship or a relationship and you're honest about how someone made you feel, what they did to hurt you, if the other person on the receiving end values that friendship or the relationship, trust and believe they will try to fix it. They'll come back and say, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean to hurt you. They'll apologize, whatever the case may be. Just being honest can save a lot of friendships, a lot of he said, she said, a lot of things that could have been taken out of context on either end just be honest. Just be honest about how you feel. And if that person values your friendship or values the relationship, trust and believe they will try to fix it. They will apologize. They will make sure that it does not happen again. But there is no way that you can prevent that if you're not honest. It does not help to tell someone else. Even if you say, don't say nothing, because a lot of times they end up saying something, someone else says something, and then when it makes it back around to the friend, it's nothing like the way you said it. So you always want to be honest with your friends about how you feel, and you want to communicate it with the person that has the control to make it right. Okay, so the second characteristic of being a great friend is to show up. And what I mean by show up is you have to be there. You have to be there for your friend, for milestone events, baby showers, birthday parties, milestone birthdays, births sometimes. Trust and believe, I am the queen of, I don't feel like doing this, I don't feel like doing that. But in order to be a great friend, you have to show up for your friend. I can remember I had a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and we were just talking, and she was saying that she had an event to go to. I can't remember what it was. It was a birthday party, baby shower, or whatever the case may be. And she just kept saying, oh man, I don't feel like going. I'm tired. I worked all night. I don't feel like going. So I asked her, I said, okay, if you don't feel like going, why are you going? She responded, because she always shows up for me. So it's important to show up for the people that shows up to you, but because that counts. As a good friend, you have to show up when it counts, because trust and believe, people will recognize when you do not show up. If you're constantly inviting your friends to things, whether it be milestones event, whether it be game night, crab boil, cookout, whatever the case may be, if someone is always inviting you somewhere and you're not showing up, trust and believe, people recognize that. They recognize when you never show up for them, even if they're always showing up for you. So just say, for instance, if you had a baby shower and you notice half of the people you invited did not show up, you want to think about it. Are you showing up for them? That's something that you want to take time and think about. Are you showing up for them? Because as we get older, it's an entire task to attend an event. I am not one of the friends that get offended if you do not invite me to something, because I know we have to get ready. You have to find something to wear. For those of us that like to beat our face, you got to do makeup. If you have small kids, you have to find a babysitter, or you have to get your spouse to watch them. If you have older kids, you have to make sure they're responsible enough to stay home. If it's a birthday celebration, you got to get a card, you got to get a gift, you got to drive, and you got, trust me, when you're invited to an event, it's work, especially as you get older. So I'm gonna just be honest, and you can call it selfish. I'm showing up for those who show up for me. So if you know you are one of the ones that don't show up for anyone else, but you expect them to attend your event, and you have something and you notice half of the guest list didn't show up, then think about it. Are you showing up for them? Because I can tell you 9 times out of 10, some of those people are sitting home like, she'll never come to my shit. But as a friend, if you know they are showing up for you, you are most definitely going to show up for them. And there are going to be times that you won't be able to make it for whatever reason. But the beautiful thing about that is, if you're always showing up for a friend and you miss an event, a good friend will not hold that against you, because they know she's always there. It's very important that if you want to be a good friend, you got to show up, even when you don't feel like it, because that's part of being a good friend. So one of the third things that I want to share that's a characteristic of being a good friend is don't tell everything. Being a good friend does not mean you're telling every single thing that's going on in your life. That's not part of being a good friend. That's silly. because a real woman don't tell all her business. And that's just simply establishing some boundaries. It's natural for us to talk to our friends about things that we go through, whether it's problems, relationship problems, financial problems. That's natural, and I understand that. I have done it. Sometimes we tell our friends certain things because we want advice. You know, we see that they may be more financially responsible, so we want to get some tips. Or we see the fact that they may have a strong relationship with their spouse, so we want to find out some of the secrets. So I'm not saying do not confide in your friends, because that's very important. I'm simply saying do not tell everything. One of the reasons why I say that it's not good to tell a friend everything is because once you start telling someone everything about what's going on to your life, you are inviting them to be able to speak on it or make comments on it. And although you may feel comfortable about venting about certain situations in your life, when people start to speak on it, it may not feel so good. I'm gonna just say, for an example, just say your spouse has been out of work for a certain amount of time, and you're venting to your girlfriend and you're saying, you know, he's not making an effort to finding a job. He's just sitting around here, sitting on the sofa, flipping through the TV or whatever the case may be. And she called you one day and she says, "What that old sorry man of yours?" And you hear that, and although you have said it to her maybe 10 or more times, it feels different when someone else is saying it to you. You can't really get mad about it because you pretty much invited that when you let all of your business out there. So you know, you want to be mindful of what you share, and you want to make sure, you know, that if someone speaks on it, that you're going to be okay with it. I can remember when my mom was alive, she would always say, "I talk about my kids like a dog, but ain't nobody else gonna talk about them like a dog." So she would be able to say whatever she wanted to say about us, but if anybody else had something negative to say about her kids, she was going off. So it feels a little different to hear someone else speak on your business. So you just want to, you know, you want to be mindful of what you share. Being a good friend does not mean you have to share every single blessing, every single failure, every single relationship fail. You don't have to share everything. It is okay to have boundaries when it comes to your friends. Just remember that. Okay, so the fourth thing that I want to share that I feel is very important as part of being a good friend is, if you feel a friendship slipping away, let it go. We have to understand everybody is not meant to be in our lives to the very end. We came into this world by ourselves. We're going to leave by ourselves. We can't take mama with us. We can't take BFF with us. We can't take our grandkids with us or our kids. We're going to leave here by ourselves. So some people are in your life for a season. Some people are in your life for a reason, to teach you a lesson. And some people are in your life for a lifetime. I truly believe that. Everyone is not meant to be your friend from middle school all the way till you're 80 years old in a nursing home. So we have to understand when to let it go. Not just friendships, that's relationships too. Can you think back to a time where you were so in love with a man, or if we gotta have some men watching, you were so in love with a woman and you just thought, I couldn't live without this person? Now look at you. You in love with somebody else, or maybe not, but you're clearly living without the person that back then, however many years ago, you thought that you couldn't live without. So we have to understand that when that season is over for that friendship, you have to let it go. Don't be fake. Don't be phony. You can tell when the energy is different. You can tell when the vibes are off. It's okay to go from being a close friend to a Facebook friend, where you just saying happy birthday on their birthdays, or telling their kids happy birthday, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to give you an example. I had a friend that I was friends with for a very, very long time. And so during the time that the friendship was coming to an end, I could kind of tell, you know, the energy was off. I kind of felt like she was being fake and I was being fake too. But I always thought to myself, we need to have a conversation. We need to talk about this. I never initiated the conversation, but I felt like that we needed to have a conversation, but I never said it to her. I never said we need to talk because our friendship is just going in a different direction. So the friendship did come to an end. But I'm going to tell you this. Once the friendship finally came to an end, I had no desire to have a talk. I had no desire to say I'm sorry if I was sorry for anything. I had no desire to repair the friendship. So if you have no desire to repair the friendship, let it go. Don't be fake. Don't be phony. Don't go around nobody and then you have to go to your other friend and talk about how she getting on your nerves and how you sick of her. Let the friendship go. Do not try to save it, because I will take you back to this point a little earlier in the video. If you value the friendship, you will try to save it. You will try to correct the behavior. If you don't value the friendship anymore for whatever reason, that may not mean I'm a bad person or she's a bad person. Our season is over. And we have to know when your season is over, let it go. That's with a friend, that's with a man, that's with a woman, that's with a relationship. You trying to hang on, the vibe ain't there, you're arguing, you're fussing. That season is over. Sometimes it could be a marriage ordained in God. It's over. Let it go. And you have to know when to let it go. Because it has to be two people that values the friendship and values the relationship. So if both of you guys, girl, I love you, I want us to be friends, I want us to fix that, it's different. But if you got one person on this end, I don't give a damn if we talk or not. I don't give a damn. It takes two. So if you feel the friendship slipping away, that does not necessarily mean no one is at fault. That means the season is over. It's time to move on. And sometimes it's best to not even let it fester. It's best to allow the separation to just naturally take progression. And that way, it's still intact. You may have someone that you were very, very close with at some time. They didn't necessarily do anything to you. You didn't necessarily do anything to them. But you're just not that close anymore. That means our season is over. So if you feel the friendship slipping away and you have no desire whatsoever to save it, let it go. Just let it go. Okay, so the final characteristic that I want to share with you guys of being a great friend is do not judge. Don't be judgmental. It is so easy for us to be judgmental. And I'm going to give you an example. If you're married with your husband, you guys have a happy marriage, you have your kids, and your household is in order. Everybody's household is not in order, but you have some people, their household is in order, and they are truly happy, not just for social media, not just for show, they are truly happy. But you have your girlfriend over here, her marriage didn't work out. Her husband cheated, he had a baby, he had a side chick, whatever the case may be. So she's back on the market. She's back out here. She's dating. It can be easy for you to judge her because she's back in the dating game. Anyone that's ever been single, whether it be a man or a woman, for a period of time, know that sometimes you have to date and you have to vet in order to find someone that you vibe with or that's special to you. Sometimes it may take 2 or 3 people to get there, sometimes more. Just, you know, depending on how you date and how you move. But I think it's important as the friend that has the happy home not to judge the friend that's now back out there dating or, you know, looking at her a certain way. This is just an example, not my example, but this is just an example. Looking at her a certain way because now she's back on the dating scene. So we can sometimes judge our friends based on the outside looking in. One of the reasons that it's important not to judge is because you could always end up in that situation. Your home that's very happy could end up being not so happy. It could be you that's out there on the dating scene. So it's important not to judge your friends, but to help them along in their journey. To be honest and be encouraging when they're going through tough times. Everybody goes through divorces. Everybody has a man that cheat. Some men have women that cheat. Sometimes it be with the friend. People do all kind of stuff. This is 2021, so anything is liable to happen. But we want to make sure, as a good friend, regardless of what trials and tribulations that our friends are going through, we want to be encouraging. We don't want to judge. You may be up here and your friend may be down here. It could always flip-flop. And you down here and your friend up here. So you want to make sure, if you're the one up here and you have someone that maybe went through a divorce, or maybe has been cheated on, or maybe she could be going through financial struggles, you want to be the encouraging friend. You don't want to judge and tell her how many bad decisions she make and what she needs to do. You want to be honest with her, but you also want to be encouraging, and just don't be so judgmental. It's easy to be judgmental when you're on the outside looking in, but you got to understand that the roles could always change. And you want to make sure that regardless of where you are in your life, you're not judging your friends. You're being encouraging, you're being honest with them, and you're trying to help them through. So it's very important that we don't be judgmental when our friends are experiencing hardships in their lives. And as I stated, sometimes that could be financial, sometimes that could be relationship wise, sometimes they can have kids that's acting a donkey. And you got your kids over here, they going to school, they getting straight A's. We don't want to judge the friend that's over here that can't get their kids together, because you never know when you'll be on the other end of the spectrum. And you want to encourage your friend when you're on the other end. So you need to be the same encouraging friend that you would like if you were experiencing hardships in your life. Okay, lifestyle lovers, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sound off in the comments below and let me know what you think. Did I leave something out? Do you think I was off in some of the tips that I gave on being a good friend? I feel like these are 5 very important tips to being a good friend, and this is something that I wanted to share with you guys, and I wanted to share here on my channel. So I'm glad that I finally got to film this video. If you are not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.